Hola amigos, welcome to Life for Living Well channel. Please subscribe to keep the channel going. You can also check us out by visiting our website on www.lifeforlivingwell.com. Sit down and enjoy the helpful topic for this week. Hey, welcome back to another episode for Life for Living Well. My name is Richard. Before we dive into the podcast for this week, let me quickly say thank you for being supportive of this community. Actually look up to it and listen to it and share the podcast to your friend network. And thank you. And I hope the podcast is showing a fruitful result into your own personal life. And that is the purpose of this podcast, to help one another to continue to grow as an individual and as a human being. Let's get started. Before I dive in to the podcast, I quickly want to say, if you like to know more about what Life for Living Well do as a community, you can check it out on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com. And if you'd like to contact me or write to me, you can also use a contact form on our website. I will definitely try and get back to you as soon as possible. If you're the kind of person who's looking for what kind of book Richard read and what kind of book that you think will be inspiring for you, I put some of the books on our website already. So if you go to the book sections, you can also see the list there. You could buy them directly from there, or you could just get the topic on that books and get it from any of your favorite bookshops that you can get it. So let's get started. So the topic for this week is the continuation of the last 3 episodes, and this is the 4th episode of 10 practical resourceful skills. So the particular skills we're looking into this week is what I call learning. So I call it learning, and the first thing I said before is taking from the word of Albert Spencer that once said, the great of education is not knowledge but action. That's what he said. So, and these are great pioneer of industrial enterprise, and that's what they use all the knowledge they acquire into the process. But the knowledge don't come from just a standard classroom. It might come from personal experience or the experience you acquire through observing other people. Learning is the process of gaining new skills, knowledge, understanding, and values. So what you will learn by the end of this podcast is, number 1, you'll be able to identify the benefits and the drawbacks of learning. Number 2, how to develop learning skills, because it's not just being in the classroom, it's where your learning starts and ends. What other area that you could actually explore in learning, and this is what this podcast will try to cover at the same time. And the third one, how do you integrate everything you've known? So because some of the courses, training that you do in your job, it might only be 15% actually relevant to your current work or current jobs. So what happened to the remaining 85%? What happened to the remaining 75%? What happened to the remaining 50%? How do you use it? Your family, your children can even teach you a lot about so many things that you forgot about, and you begin to open yourself up. So how do you bring this back into your working world? Because you might have more than one world. You might not just be sit-at-home parent. You might be a working individual, and so you have a working world. You have a home world, you have a friendship world, you have or B words. So how do you integrate all this intricacy and all the skills that you develop from different sections of the world that you have, and integrate it to full person? So these are the things that you were able to learn by the end of the podcast. Okay, there are many ways learning can be incorporated into our lives. So like I stated it above before, our education is not finished when we leave school and enter adulthood, but our education will continue throughout our life. And the only people that embrace learning as part of habit are the ones that are proactive about learning. So they take it seriously. They don't actually feel really upset that they have to learn. So they say connection about their growth and learning. People that learn well are those who are proactive about it. Today, it is glaringly possible that society that incorporate learning do much better in terms of cohesion and economic growth. So it's not coincidence that you have some countries that they financially, economically, they are doing really well. And what linking those countries and the way they build their society is the level of investment they make toward the education for their citizens. And the more their citizen is open, the more they're able to participate in the area of politics, economy, social cohesion. And it's so glaring and so many things that we can replicate and imitate to other society. For some reason, some countries are not able to emerge and evolve to this level, because it also takes significant level of investment to get to that level. Before getting into the benefits of learning and why you should practice it, every day we all have opportunities to learn, either through people around us, those we work with, through books. And the funniest thing is that I've not met anyone that done really, really well in their chosen field that did not embrace reading. They read ferociously, and you'll be surprised how many areas of topic you could engage with them in conversation. And one of the things that is getting more difficult with people that I've seen these days is they tend to spend a lot of time on social media and spend less time or no time on reading books. I once asked someone, how many books you read in a year? And he looked at me as if I'm talking jargons, because he hardly able to finish a book in a year. So you will have imagined that they could read a book in a week, or they could read a book in a month. And at the end of the year, they could read a book. They could read 12 books in a year if they decide to read one book a month. You could read more than 12 books in a year if you decide to read 2 books in a month. That takes time. So how do you use your time? So when you actually embrace things like this, you begin to decide how you spend your time, what you spend your time on. Even far away stories, they learn from it. So we have so many things around us that we can learn from, not necessarily a classroom base that we acquire our education from. Many of us have A+ results going to the university, specializing in some particular area, but we are so naive, we are so inexperienced when it comes to financial management, when it comes to relationship management, when it comes to conflict resolution. You need to take a training or learn or get a book, learn about it, or seek a mentor in this area. So it is proactive. Firstly, you have to identify that is handicap your life, it's handicap your progress. So you invest to educate yourself in that area. And then you begin to make different choices. How you spend your money, where your money goes, how your money is spent. Begin to choose friends based on values, or based on principles, or based on virtues, or based on hobbies. Because you have so many different friends, and one person might not fit into everything. You might have a friend that you really enjoy in their company. You might like dancing, they might not like dancing. So meaning that if you still want to dance, you have to be happy to go by yourself without always want them to be there with you. And so many more that we can learn from. I know of someone that told me that the biggest lesson of his life is what he learned after his marriage was broke down. And he said for 10 years, it was the best school of his life that he ever experienced. And it transformed, it made him to do soul searching, identify the role and the contribution of his part in the meanings of that relationship. But when I asked how was his ex felt about it, he said she was so unhappy about it. She was so sad about it. She was even angry with him that he said that it was the thing that taught him a lot about himself. So to her, it looked like he never took it serious, and that is not the truth. It's just because two people experience the same thing or have a different perspective of events, of what happened. Someone said there's an opportunity for them to grow. Another person said there's nothing to learn from it. And that cannot be true. Everything you experience, you could turn it to a learning if you wanted to. Because if you already know what to do, you won't mess it up. And if you already educate yourself enough, you'll have warned that person that, look, I'm a mess, and I'm always going to mess it up because I'm not good in managing my money well, and I will not be good to manage your money well. You'll be warned then. And just imagine everybody warned their potential partner that, look, this is a dangerous person you're about to enter a relationship with. The answer to that, some people will still go ahead, so most people will hold it back. But unfortunately, many people have not done work on themselves to really identify how capable they are to sabotage themselves and sabotage anything around them. So when you embrace learning, these are the things learning will begin to do for you. It will begin to allow you in area where you developing your spiritual side, or you developing your mental or emotional side. The situation will expose you and will allow you to acquire the understanding of yourself that you need to know. So you can even learn from nature if you are open to the experience. Learning not only propels you to acquire new skill, knowledge, understanding, and most especially values in my observation. The Bible says, you shall know the truth and it shall set you free. Many people discourage themselves from learning new things. Why? They use how busy they are. A very old friend once asked me, oh, I heard that you do this, you do that, you do this. How do you have time? I look at him and I said, how many hours you have in a day? So he said 24 hours. How many hours you work in a day? He said 7 to 8 hours. And I said, how many hours you spend to sleep? He said 7 hours. So what do you do to the rest of the day? He said, well, I'm in the car, I get stuck in traffic in London, I go to the gym, and then I'm tired. How do you do it? And I said the same. I said, okay, what is more important to you? So again, it depends what you chose to spend your time and energy on. I'm kind of person that I like the idea of do everything in a smart way, not necessarily in a hardworking way, but in a very smart way. And I'm not quite sure that you can always be smart all the time, because your body, your emotions will sometimes will not want you to do that, and that is fine. And as more you're able to listen to how you feel, and you're able to identify when you need to slow down, but most importantly, you have to try and make yourself be more intentional. If you just wait until you feel good before you do the right thing, I guarantee you will not do it, because your body will do everything to discourage you. So many people discourage themselves from learning new things. They use how busy they are, how old they are, and not consider the cost of ignorance. So people tend to have a lot of reasons why learning is not an option for them. But whatever reason they have, the cost of not learning is so far higher than learning itself. And if you are a risk insurer, you will be able to identify what is more risky for you long run. Today, many wars can be avoided. Civil unrest can be reduced if there is not too much gap with the understanding of people in authority and the subject. Again, it's about learning. Society that works well, society that economically uplifted. So it's not coincidence that the Northern Europe, countries like Norway, Denmark, Sweden, for the last few years have been rated the most happiest country in the world. And what I find out is when I was in one of these countries, I really want to do my own, own scientific survey by randomly approach a stranger, introduce myself to them, and ask them the same question: what makes them happy? It's so surreal for me doing that in Norway. And one of the things that after speaking to about 6 to 8 people, which is not a lot for a survey like this, was so surreal for me is people feel like they have choice to choose how they live their lives. Some people feel happy that they can go to the gym, they can go to the they can go to the community park with their baby in the bubble and leave the baby beside them and use exercise material or meeting other young mothers and run together with the baby with their kids, make them happy. Some people think that they're more happy because they do not need to worry about the child care or looking after the elderly parent. The states already take that from their tax, and they honestly use that money in a way that they can see the benefit of it, so they're happy. So you choose what makes you happy. And also, it's a highly educated society where everybody seems to know their right, and the government tend to follow a constitutional contract with the citizen that they govern, and they are very vocal about it. Today, we can actually reduce so many civil unrest if the people there's no much gap between people that govern and the people that they subject to them. Our next industrial revolution development will be determined by the level of individual continuous learning. In the age of artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things. So remember, in the second and third industrial revolution of human advancement, development rapidly grew, such as tractor, train, banking, shipping, printing, writing, and reading. It is then that led to abolition of slavery. So what happened after all this advancement during the industrial revolution of second and third generation? What really happened is we get rid of the slavery. So no longer profitable for a slave owner to keep a slave. Because what we take 100 slaves to do for 2 years, tractor could do it in a week. That is the cynical side of abolition of slavery. But I want to be real that without all this development, all these changes, I don't feel like abolition of slavery will happen the time that it happened. It's all linked to each other. Because by nature, all human beings, regardless of their color of skins, are selfish. You become more calculative. What is it for you? So, an advancement of medicine and globalization with increased longevity for everyone, even the poorest country. So, learning comes in three folds. So, let's look at it. Number one, individual. This includes shaping oneself character throughout life as a result of learning. The Bible says, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." And to also support this, Aristotle once said, "The root of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet." So you have no idea everything that you are learning, everything you are exposing yourself is only when you start using it, the way you're making your decision, the way you live your life, that you begin to see the result and the fruit of it. And the people around you begin to see it too. Another way a learning can be introduced to you is through the organization, through your work, through the body that you belong to. So business builds people, and in return, people build business. So it's not the business just build himself, it's the people that build the business. But a smart business is the one that build the people that work for them. Because those are the people that generate the wealth of the business. Business itself cannot do without the people that work there. Research shows that organizations that embrace learning and encourage their workforce to embrace learning do much better in innovation and retention compared to those who do not or invest less in learning. They have a better chance to adapt to change when it comes. Organizations are communities of human beings, not collections of human resources. Henry Mintzberg. So, and he put it much better by saying that organizations are communities of human beings, not collections of human resources. So the last way we can learn as well, the third one, is what I call society. We have so many beliefs. Some of those beliefs are not helping us, they're actually sabotaging us. But we can also introduce a new belief as a society, define it, and raise new generation for the next generation, and learn collectively, because collection of so many different families, individuals, that make society. And because we come from different homes, we also come with a lot of baggage. Yes. And these are the things society have to do. So that's why rules, regulation, fairness, justice is key to have a society that is just for majority of people. I don't believe it will for everyone, but that should be our desire for everyone. So number 3, society. Ideas. The importance of collective responsibility is key to just and fair society, which is driven by learning. And it starts from home, openness to learning, encouraging critical thinking, and the habit of questioning. So if you're shutting your children down, if you're shutting your partner down just because you feel insecure about them questioning you, you are setting them up for failure, and they won't be able to contribute to the society at large when the time comes. It increases tolerance and understanding of diverse groups of people and races that are made up of population. Socrates once said, "I'm not an Athenian or a Greek, but a citizen of the world." So it takes a lot of inner work to not become nationalistic in your way of thinking. Like, I'm a German, I'm an English, I'm Welsh, I'm Scottish. You are all those things, but you are more than those things alone. And it takes a lot of open mind to experience and realize that you might be English, but you're also connected to an Indian person in an Indian village. How do you connect to them? You are fair, you have anxiety. From everyone here, from Life for Living Well, we say hasta luego, amigos. Thank you for your time this week. May your rest of the week be safe and loving. Please subscribe to our channel to keep it going. And you can find more information on our website by visiting www.lifeforlivingwell.com. Goodbye.